Hey guys, it's Funny Gamer here, and today I'm back with another video in the Wild West. And in this video, I will be explaining the Wild West iceberg that I made. And if you don't know what this means, I don't mean a literal iceberg in the Wild West. So an iceberg or a gaming iceberg is pretty much talks about mysterious things in the game, and the farther down it goes, or the deeper into the water under the iceberg, the more mysterious and unknown it is. So yeah, anyways, let's get right into it. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is Callahans Manor. Now, this is a huge piece of the Wild West's lore, and I can't really talk about it all in this video. It would need its whole separate video to talk about all of the lore, but I'll pretty much just give a base description of it. So, there used to be a family that lived at Callahans Manor, the Callahan family, and then the father began looking into the summoning the Wendigo, and he pretty much went crazy and eventually summoned the Wendigo, and that is where the Wendigo, or at least one of the Wendigos, came from. And there's a lot of mysteries at this manor, such as the secret room and another secret room. There's two in the manor. And there's also, recently it was all boarded up. It didn't used to be boarded up, but now the front door and everything has boards on it. And this is a very strange mystery. The next thing I want to talk about is the abandoned mine buildings. And these buildings are really strange because there's not really anything there. There's only a few buildings, and they're quite big actually, and there's also a wood cutting station. And it's just kind of weird because it looks like they're either abandoned or they're not being used yet. So there might be a mining update in the future, and this is why I put it at the top, because there's not really a lot knowing about them. The next thing and the last thing we have at the top layer is the ghost train. And this isn't that strange actually. I just decided to include it in case it had any background. But pretty much there's a ghost train that that at the Halloween update went around the map sometimes instead of the normal train, and I feel like it was just an extra feature in the Halloween update and not actually connected to the lore, but you never know. Now we move on to the second layer, and this is where things start to get a little more strange, with the first one being the train wrecks. So if you go around the train track in the Wild West, in the more mountainous area and around Howling Peak, you might find a few train wrecks. There's two that I know of. One is in Bear Paw Valley, and it's just a train at the side of the tracks that seem to have crashed there. And another is in the water under a bridge, also near Bear Paw Valley, but on the other side of the mountain. And this one's a little more strange, as there's a lot of carts on there, but there's nothing that can really be seen in it. It looks like just a normal train model that has fallen. But there might be a backstory to it, like maybe someone died in the train wreck that was important in the Wild West, or it was carrying something that got stolen. But there's not really much known about them yet, but maybe in the future they'll mean something more. Next we have R.J. Hudson, also known as Robert John Hudson, and this is a person in the Wild West who used to own a hunting cabin in Tribal Forest, which you can still find to this day and get quite a few good things there. And you can find his grave in Dead Man's Rest, and it has a strange text on it that says "Rest with thunder and end with a bang." And so, yeah, it kind of sounds like he got hit by lightning or something. And even weirder, if you throw a piece of dynamite at his his grave, it'll blow up, revealing a key. And then if you bring this key to the cellar behind his hunting cabin or hunting store, then it opens up this small mine shaft area where you can get the detonator. And a lot of people know about this, but it's still a very strange person, because how did he die? Was it just from lightning, or was it something else? But yeah, so RJ Hudson is one of the only people in the Wild West that are in the lore that actually have a name. Next, we have the Buried Library, and this is a super cool place in my opinion, but it also holds many mysteries, like what was it used for? Was it just a library? Or was it a library combined with some sort of church? And it gets even more weird after it was buried, because now it seems that there is some strange cult that took over it, and that's what happened at the Halloween event this year, where they had this strange like ritual or whatever you would call it, where you could go to the underworld. And yeah, so this library holds many mysteries, a lot which are still uncovered. Now let's talk about the Underworld. So this is a super strange place, and if you were in the Halloween event this year, you will know that if you went in it, you could it was like super strange, and there's like a bunch of huge skulls and the super overpowered skeleton horses that ran at you, and there's like a lake and a bunch of statues and some weird notes. I won't talk about this too much, and I'll probably make my own video on it, but this is one of the strangest places in the Wild West. And also, the developers said that in the future there may still be a way to get into the underworld, so it's not gone forever, and maybe we'll find even more mysteries there in the future. Next, we'll talk about the Wendigo, and this is a mysterious beast which is connected to almost all of the lore in the Wild West. And there's a lot of backstory behind this beast, which I will only talk about a little in this video. But the Wendigo pretty much is this tall beast that runs at you and deals a ton of damage and can throw you great distances. And it is said to be summoned or not found, so it's very mysterious, and it connects to the Buried Library, the Underworld, Callahans Manor, and a lot of other things. And I hope we will be able to see this beast in the future so we can know more about it. Next, we will talk about the Wild West developers being in the lore. So if you go to Dead Man's Rest, you can see that there are a few graves there that have names that actually connect to the developers of the Wild West. Some of these include Red Train and Tyridge 77. You can find these developers' names on the graves, and they have kind of a cool connection to the lore of the Wild West, such as Tyridge being the original mayor and creator of Bronze City. So yeah, this is really cool, and also you can find Tyridge's profile picture in the mayor's house, so that's also another reference. So this is pretty cool, and I don't know if this is just a reference to the developers, but maybe they have more significance in the lore. And yeah, so that will be it. That's all I'm going to talk about for today, because this video is already getting kind of long, and there's still 2 sections that I have to go through. And anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!